The story begins in 1965, near the end of the American Civil War. We see a captain holding a gold coin in his hand as he loads several boxes filled with similar coins onto a ship. On top of those boxes, the letters CSA were written. Suddenly, they come under attack, but the captain quickly launches the ship into the water and shuts off all the engines. So that, in the darkness, no one could trace their location. They managed to evade the enemies and escape safely. The story now jumps to the present day. Inside a World Health Organization, WHO, van sits Dr. Sophia. The van is currently in the city of Las Vegas, Africa, where a mysterious disease is spreading rapidly. After examining a new patient, Sophia finds that he too is infected with this unknown illness that no one has been able to identify yet. The patient's mother says that a few days ago, the boy had gone to Mali with his father, and after returning from there, he fell sick. Sophia places the patient in the van and contacts her senior. Her senior says that including this patient, there are 6 people infected in total, and they should immediately file a report to WHO. But according to her senior, it's too soon, and no one will respond so quickly. Sophia decides to go to Mali herself to find out what's causing this sickness. However, Mali is currently engulfed in a civil war. Her senior warns her, in such a dangerous situation, no one will grant you permission to enter that country. Meanwhile, a masked man has been secretly watching them from a distance, apparently not pleased with the doctor's arrival. Sophia suddenly remembers that she should also collect a sample from the patient's father. So, she heads to the lighthouse, where the boy's father works. There, she finds him in the same condition, only he's already dead. Quietly, Sophia collects a sample and leaves the place. Nearby, a man is sailing a small boat in the ocean. The same masked man who was watching the doctors suddenly attacks Sophia. But the man from the boat arrives just in time and saves her. During the struggle, however, the masked man steals Sophia's bag and runs away. When Sophia regains consciousness, she finds herself aboard a ship named Nomad. It's a treasure-hunting vessel that searches for riches under the sea. Outside, she sees the man who saved her. He's holding a valuable statue recovered from the ocean. He and his crew have long been searching for the ship marked with CSA. But to this day, no one has ever found it. Soon after, Almora, the owner of the Nomad, arrives. The man who rescued Sophia introduces himself as Doc. Almora tells Doc, "We've found something valuable, that statue. It'll be displayed tonight at the museum party. Get it cleaned and ready." Later, Doc meets a Nigerian dealer to discuss business. At the party, the ancient statue is revealed to everyone. It once belonged to an African king's tomb, worth billions. Doc goes to the dealer again, who shows him a coin engraved with CSA. Doc immediately grabs the coin and says, "This is the dream I've chased my whole life." No one knows where that ship disappeared. At the same party, the owner of the Mascot Corporation is present, the company that funded the treasure expedition. This man has strong connections in Mali, so Sophia asks him to help her travel there, as she wants to uncover the origin of the virus. The company owner warns her, "It's extremely dangerous," but adds, "If you're determined, I'll try to find a way." Soon after, Doc also arrives and shows the coin to James, the company owner. Doc explains that the coin was found in Mali, and according to locals, the wreck of that ship must be somewhere near there. James gets excited and immediately grants 3 days permission for them to travel to Mali and search for the ship. If they find even a small clue, a full-scale expedition will be launched. The next day, when they reach the harbor, Sophia and Dr. Jack are already waiting. Sophia tells Doc, "James said Dr. Jack and I can join you on the Mali trip." Thus, the 5 of them set off for Mali. That night, while having dinner, Doc tells Sophia the story behind the coin, and how finding that ship has been his childhood dream. When they finally reach Mali, Sophia and Jack go their separate way toward their research site, while Doc and his team visit the man who originally possessed the coin. There, they learn that the man has already died. It's revealed that a ship once docked at this port, but there were no living people on board. The strong currents carried the ship away into the distance. This information proves very useful to Doc. He immediately reports everything to James, and without delay, they set out toward a nearby coastal town. Along the way, they find a fragment floating near their boat. After testing it, they discover it's a type of special clay, possibly corroded metal. But Doc says, It's not normal to find this kind of clay in running water. Something's odd here. Just then, a military patrol boat approaches them. The officers keep asking, "Where's the doctor who came with you?" The king of the region has been informed that 2 foreign doctors have arrived, and they're trying to uncover the root cause of the spreading disease. Under the king's orders, the soldiers must stop them at any cost. Otherwise, something disastrous might happen. Doc realizes that something is seriously wrong. Otherwise, why would the soldiers be after the doctors? He tells the officer, "Sir, we don't understand much English. Bring your boat closer so we can talk." As the officer's boat approaches, Doc throws a rope toward them, pretending to tie both boats together. But the moment they attach it, he signals his crew. Full speed ahead. In a flash, the officer's boat flips over, and Doc quickly cuts the rope, escaping from the scene. But the danger isn't over yet. A few miles ahead, 2 more boats block their path and open fire. Doc realizes, "We must jump now, or we're dead." Before jumping, they cut open the fuel tank, causing a massive explosion just as the second patrol boat closes in. As flames engulf the area, all 3 of them dive into the water. The officers opened fire at their boat, and, because of a fuel leak, a massive explosion erupted that killed all the policemen. After a short while, the 3 of them crossed the river and reached a house on the shore. Rudy told Doc, "Now we don't have any boat. Should we stop searching for the ship?" Doc replied, "We'll look for the ship later. First we must save those doctors' lives. If they fall into their hands, they'll be killed." Doc told Rudy, "You cross the border quickly and go to Almora. I'll take James and find those 2 doctors." Meanwhile, the 2 doctors reached a village where no people could be seen. They searched everywhere, but only silence surrounded them. Sophia found a room piled with many corpses. Everyone was dead. The next morning, they buried all the bodies. Meanwhile, Rudy secretly crossed the border. Sophia spotted a well in the village and thought maybe something could be found inside it, so she prepared to descend. When she reached the bottom and was about to collect a water sample, Jack shouted from above that some military men had arrived. Then the sound of gunfire was heard, and they killed everyone except Jack. Sophia became frightened and hid inside the well. A helicopter then landed. Molly's king, Kazim, had arrived. Kazim asked Jack where the female doctor was. Hearing the helicopter, Doc and James realized the doctors were nearby. But Kazim was furious. He shot and killed Jack and ordered his men to find Sophia as quickly as possible. Doc and James, hiding nearby, watched everything. Kazim's men began slaughtering everyone around. At one point, Doc himself was badly hurt. Then Sophia appeared from behind and killed one of Kazim's men. The senior doctor was devastated by Jack's death, but Doc said they must get out of there immediately because the place was not safe at all. The 3 of them escaped Kazim's military zone and reached another area, but this place was even more dangerous. Suddenly, some men captured the 3 of them and brought them before their leader, Gordigo. Gordigo asked, "What are you doing here?" Sophia replied, "I am a doctor, and I have discovered the cause of the disease that is spreading in your area." Hearing the name of the disease, he took them to a place where many people had died from the same illness. Sophia examined them and confirmed that their deaths were from the same disease. She then tested the local water and found out the water here was poisoned. This could not be a natural occurrence. Someone must have deliberately mixed chemicals into the water. She told the leader the water was poisoned and that they must find out where it came from. He said, "Find out as quickly as you can. I'll help as much as I can." Meanwhile, James was playing football with some children. When the ball rolled a little way off, he chased after it and arrived at a strange spot. There were odd drawings on the ground, and to everyone's surprise, one of the pictures showed the very ship they had been searching for. They learned that the wreck lay buried beneath a nearby dry desert. Sophia and Doc went to inspect the site. They learned that 200 years ago a river had flowed here, but now it had dried up. The 3 of them prepared completely to search for the river. They noticed in the picture a fortress. There used to be a fort beside the river. Doc suspected that the village's poison water might be coming from that river. The river had not entirely disappeared. Its water still flowed beneath the earth. The 3 set out toward the river's old course. Soon they saw the fort. From the top of the fort, they spotted a solar plant that belonged to the Mascot Company. But such a solar plant made no sense in such an uninhabited area. Then they saw a train in the distance. They approached carefully and sneaked inside the train. Meanwhile, Rudy reached Almora. Rudy noticed a red chili stain on his clothes, the same kind they'd found on the boat in Maldives. When Rudy tested the sample and showed the report to Almora, Almora was shocked. Sophia, James, and Doc proceeded with their plan and entered the plant. Inside, they realized that the plant was producing radioactive chemicals, and in that fierce sun the process was being accelerated. Sophia's eyes fell upon some containers being transported underground. They followed those men, and when the basement door was opened, they were completely stunned. The basement contained thousands of tons of toxic, radioactive liquid. Some containers were leaking, and that toxic liquid was seeping through the soil into the underground water that served all of Maldives. That is why the disease was spreading so rapidly. Almora and Rudy took that report to the U.S. Embassy, but the embassy would not believe that such a thing could be happening. Meanwhile, James and his companions were escaping from the plant when Mascot's men captured them. Mascot asked Sophia, "What are you doing here? How did you find out about this place?" Sophia told Mascot, "Because of what you are doing here, people's lives are being destroyed." Mascot then said, "We're not doing anything wrong. In fact, we're burning the toxic chemicals." Sophia replied that the chemicals they were storing in the basement were leaking into the river, and the people who drank that water were getting sick. Hearing this, Mascot became terrified. He quickly had Doc and James tied up and taken somewhere. Doc, thinking fast, used a gold coin to unlock the latch at the back of the truck. Because of that, they got separated from the vehicle. Meanwhile, Mascot hurried to meet Kazim and told him everything Sophia had said. Kazim replied coldly, "If he's so worried, let him shut down the plant. But I still want my money every month." He added, "Even if thousands of people die, I don't care." Elsewhere, Doc and James were still wandering in the desert with their hands tied in chains. After walking a long distance, exhausted and thirsty, they suddenly spotted an airplane. They noticed that the plane's tires were still in good condition. Using their wits, they climbed onto the plane and managed to drive it over the sand, eventually reaching a small village. There they found a telephone and called Almora to explain everything. Later, they sold one of the gold coins and bought a car. With that car, they drove to meet the leader Gordigo and requested his help in fighting against Kazim. But Gordigo didn't have enough men or weapons to fight someone like Kazim, so he refused to join them. However, he gave them his car, one he had previously bought from Kazim. Using that car, Doc and James went straight to the chemical plant. At the gate, the guards stopped them, but they drew their guns and forced their way inside. Mascot quickly realized someone had broken in and rushed to the upper levels. Doc and James entered and were stunned. The entire plant was empty. James said, "Maybe Mascot finally believed that people are dying because of him, and that the news has reached America. Now they must be trying to erase every trace of this place." James quickly went downstairs, searching for explosives, thinking they might be planning to blow up the entire facility. Just then, a helicopter landed outside. Mascot forced Sophia into it and prepared to take off. But before he could leave, Doc arrived and grabbed him. Suddenly, Mascot's men appeared from behind and stopped Document. Meanwhile, Sophia jumped out of the helicopter just in time and landed safely below. Downstairs, James found a bomb hidden inside one of the containers. He disarmed it and placed it inside his bag. Mascot, sitting in the helicopter, used a remote control to rotate the solar panels toward the sun. The panels began operating at full intensity, heating everything rapidly. But thanks to James's quick thinking, no explosion occurred. The bomb had already been disabled. Seeing this, Mascot went into a rage. Sophia and Doc managed to free themselves from Mascot's men, and the three of them escaped in their car, driving far across the desert. But soon, Kazim's helicopter began chasing them. Kazim opened fire from above. Doc shouted to James, "Throw out the containers we found in the basement." When James tossed them out, one of Kazim's bullets struck a container, causing a massive explosion. But what happened next was beyond anything they could have imagined. The blast displaced the sand, revealing the ancient ship that had been buried underground for centuries. Seeing the ship, the three of them rushed inside to take cover. Kazim spotted them and began firing at the ship. His men surrounded the area from all sides. During the attack, several containers inside the ship burst open, and gold coins rolled across the floor. Doc couldn't believe his eyes. After so many years, the coins were still intact. Then they found an old cannon still in working condition. They prepared it quickly and fired it just as Kazım's helicopter approached. The blast struck the chopper, killing Kazım instantly. Kazım's entire army then surrendered before them. They were shocked to see such a massive force give up so easily, but soon they realized Gordigo's men had surrounded the area from all sides. Meanwhile, back in America, an undercover agent who had learned everything deliberately mixed the same poison into Mascot's company water supply, the same kind of water they had given to the people of Mali. Soon Mascot suffered the same fate as his victims. In the end, we see Doc and Sophia leaving the treasure behind for Gordigo's people because it was rightfully theirs. They were the ones who had suffered the most. So friends, how did you like today's story? Don't forget to let me know in the comments. Your comments encourage me to make more videos. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.